Hey guys, welcome to Sarah's Jewelry Studio. So today we are doing the Awesome Jewelry Collab with that's hosted by Pirate Pretties Jewelry. So we have a bunch of different jewelry creators that are doing this collaboration. And so basically we just follow a specific theme that's laid out each month, and we do have the whole listing right here of everything for the whole year. So for January, the color was white, the metal was silver or gold, the type was bracelet or earrings. The theme or the fun element was New Year's or fireworks. So I actually made earrings. So actually we're gonna make the other earring. So I used the New Year's fireworks theme with silver and fireworks. So this was my interpretation of trying to make an earring that is reminiscent of fireworks. So this is what I came up with. So we're going to see how to make this. All right, so I hope you guys like the earring and stay tuned for the tutorial. All right, so here we go on this firework earring tutorial for the Awesome Jewelry Collab for January of 2021. So this is the earring we're going to make here. Okay, so you can see it's just an ear wire attached to a head pin that is going through a bead cap. And then on the head pin here, we have the center focal piece there. And then around the side, we have some fringe that is done with some wildfire thread or any kind of thread and needle. So there you go. So you can see a close-up look of what all is going on there. All right, so the materials we're going to need are, we're going to need some rondelles. If you're making the same exact one that I have here, 42 rondelles total between both earrings. And these are 3x4 millimeter clear. I don't know where I got any of these beads that are here. None of them had their labels with them, so I couldn't tell you where they came from. And then we have these red bicones here. So we're going to need 22 of them for the whole set. And then we have these two large rondelles here. These are about 4x6 millimeter. I measured these are 4x5 millimeter. I don't know if that's normally how they come sized, but like I said, it had no packaging, so I just had to measure them. They measured to be about 4x5 millimeter. And then a large center focal bead. This is 10 millimeters. And then this is like, it's like a little clay ball with like rhinestones stuck into it. All right, and then we have our bead cap, we have our ear wire, we have a head pin. And I learned a very valuable lesson. Don't leave your needle on the table with a handful of head pins, because then you might accidentally pick it up and put it in the bag with all the head pins, and then you have to sort through this till you find it. That took a minute. Don't want to do that again. Valuable lesson learned, so I figured I'd share that. So this is the needle I have here. It's a number 10, John James. It doesn't really matter which needle you use. This is the thread I'm using here, is Wildfire 6 pound. Again, it doesn't matter what kind of thread you use. You can have whatever you have on hand. And then kid scissors actually work the best to cut this thread with. I've learned that. Well, I've learned that originally from watching other people's videos, but just from doing it myself, I agree. It definitely works better. Alright, and then I just do one little drop of glue on the knot, on the thread, and then we're going to need some bugle beads. So for the whole set, about 140 to 160 bugle beads, which is really not much at all. So I did a pour out of this container, and then I made this out of that, and then I still have all those left. So it's really not a lot of those. Alright, and then tools. So we just have the chain nose pliers just to close the the loop on the head pin, and then a looper is what my favorite tool of choice is to make the loop on the end of the head pin. But if you don't have that, you can definitely use your flush cutters and your round nose pliers to do that on your own, whichever you prefer. I like this because it just gets it done a lot faster. Alright, so that is everything we need to get started. So the first thing we're going to do, the first thing I did was I built my center focal. So we're just going to take the head pin and we're just going to go right through the bicones, rondelle, the center here. And you can do this part any way you want. Oh, you know what? I already messed it up because I had clears on the bottom. Alright, so let's try that again. So we have rondelle, bicone, rondelle, center focal bead, rondelle, oops, bicone, and then the other rondelle. So there we go. And then we're going to put the bead cap right on top. And we're going to use our looper. Alright, there we go. Then we're going to attach the ear wire right onto that. Use our pliers here to tighten that loop down. So the looper never actually gets this loop totally tight, which is fine because most of the time you're usually needing to attach something anyway. So I just like to make sure that loop is nice and solid. So there you go. So we have our main part of our earring. So now the rest of it is just going to be sewing. So I'm going to get rid of these tools here. Alright. So now, one of the best tricks that I learned about threading the needle here, you want to make sure you have a nice flat edge of your thread. If it's all frayed like that, just take your scissors and just get a nice sharp edge. And then the key phrase that I heard was to, instead of thread your needle, you needle your thread. So, but what I also do, I give the end of my thread a squish and flatten it out. And then just hold that right up close to your fingers there. Take your needle here. I'm just going to push the needle onto your thread. Alright, so I got that in there. And once I get that in there, I take my pliers and grab that little piece of thread and I pull it through. I'm not making this look easy, I swear. It's easier every other time. There you go. Alright. So I took about, when I did the first side, I did a full wingspan. That ended up being too much by this amount. So I cut it down and say about like two-thirds of a wingspan. So like with this time I did from my arm length across to my other shoulder and not out the other arm length, just so from arm to opposite shoulder, if that makes sense, or fingertips to opposite shoulder. Alright, so I got my thread my thread needled up. Yep, I got my thread needled up and we're ready to go. So first step, you just want to have a little bit of a tail here. You don't need much. So first thing we're going to do is we need to get our thread attached to our bead cap. And it doesn't matter where you start because the bead cap spins on there. So it doesn't quite matter. So all we're going to do is just tie this off at the end here. And I just do the same way I would close off a stretch bracelet. I'm just going to do overhand knot. So make sure you're down towards the end of your thread so you're not wasting a bunch of thread. I'm just going to do one overhand knot. and then go the opposite direction. So left over right and then right over left, or vice versa. We're going to go around once, and then we'll do a surgeon's knot. We'll go around twice. Alright. So there we go. So now we have our knot to start. Okay. And then all we're going to do is I'm going to drop a glue, put a little dot of glue on there just to make sure it doesn't come undone. And I use GS Hypo Cement. Always going to close it up right away or it oozes out. And the best tip I have is to put your finger behind it. And that helps you line up to get that pin into there. Alright. And then all I did on the other one, I just trim this down. There you go. And then this little bit of thread here, we can get it into the bead, then we'll do that. Alright, so we're ready to get started. So all we're going to do on this one, if you look, so only on 3 of them and spaced out, I did 1 rondelle at the top. You don't have to do that. I just wanted to add some extra sparkle towards the top. So you can really do these any way you want. You can put whatever bead you want on these. You can just do strands just all the way down. The main thing is that, you know, with doing the bugles, whatever's at the end, it would be better if it wasn't a bugle, just so that way it doesn't cut your thread. So like your thread's going to go around the outside of the bottom bead, so you wouldn't want to use something that's going to have sharp edges. That's why I have rondelles down here at the bottom. Alright, so what we're going to do, we're just going to, so this first one will start off with the rondelle, and then it doesn't matter which way you do. If you want to dip into the pile, if you want to pick them up, whichever way you do it, it doesn't matter. There's no right or wrong way to do it. Do whatever way is comfortable for you. Alright. And then with these are not uniformly cut bugle beads, so I want to look at them on my needle and see how they're lining up and make sure they're not sticking out all wonky. And then in the middle of every strand, I did like 4 or 5 bugles, and then in the middle I did one of these rondelles, the clay rondelles, then another 4 or 5, and then a red bicone, which I just realized I did not get out anymore. So I need to do that real quick. So like I said, to me it doesn't matter whether you pick it up or you grab them from the mat. Either way, it takes a minute for me. Alright, so I got another 4 on there. Now I need to grab, I'm just going to slide these all the way up. I'm going to try and feed that thread into these on the end here. There we go. Alright, so let me grab these, red bin, I have that right here. Alright, let's see. Here we go, it's these here. Like I said, per earring, we need about 11 of them. Well, not about, we need 11. Well, actually, we only need 9 because I already had 2 of them out here. Look at that. Alright. So I'm just going to come in and grab this, and then grab another bicone for the thread to go around. So I'm going to feed this all the way up. Then I'm going to go around the outside of the bicone. I'm sorry, around the outside of the rondelle. Go back up through the bicone. It doesn't matter if you hold your work tight here or not. Just gotta get it through, because we'll pull it tight after we get everything all through. I'm just going to feed through all of this. Alright, and then what you're going to want to do is hold just this bottom rondelle. And you're just going to pull, and that'll cinch it all right up. So there you go. So that's our first one. Okay. And then my thread actually came out again. So I'm going to try and feed that back down through again. And then just hold on to that rondelle again and pull your thread through. Okay, now we got it all in there. So then what I did was at the top of each one, I tied it off. So I just pulled it around, put my needle through the hole, and then just pulled that tight. I'm going to do it again in case you missed it, because I think I was off camera there for a second. So just go through any bit of the thread. And I'm sure there's names for all these things. I just don't know them. So if you know them in the comments, you're free to add them. I want to say, if memory serves, that that's a half hitch knot, but I could totally be 100% wrong. So do not quote me on that. Alright, and then I just go over into the next hole. And make sure you don't have that sitting in there. So go over into the next hole right beside it. And then what I was doing is tying off another knot. So extra knots could be redundant or they could be helpful. I'm not sure because this is the only way I've ever done it. So I'm just going back through the loop again. I just figured it would add some more security. Go through that little hole there and help hold it in position at the point of the bead cap. Alright, so we have that. So now we're going to go through and pick up our stuff. This time I'm not going to pick up a rondelle first. Like I said, I want to spread those evenly throughout the project. I'm going to grab those. They look like they're sitting pretty good. See a broken one in here. With these non-uniform bugles, you end up with some broken ones. So let me get rid of that. I keep a little trash can on my desk here. It's just a little bin. Actually, it goes with my daughter's play kitchen set, but that's alright. They come in perfectly handy as a little desktop trash can. For all these little bits that we accumulate on our desks, right? There's another broken one there. Alright. So on this one, like I said, I have 4 on the bottom, 5 on the top. It doesn't matter. I didn't do that in any particular pattern. You can do it any way you want to do this project. This is how they do the fringe earrings. But they also use, like, you know, a stitch, like peyote stitch or ladder stitch or something like that for the ones that are, like, actually make a pattern on them, if you know what I'm talking about. So those are some really, really pretty earrings and on my bucket list of things to do. So you can see this is hanging down a little bit. There's some slack in there. So I'm going to hold on to this rondelle here and give it a pull, and that tightens it right up. And now it's right up to the bead cap. Alright. So again, just going to pull that. I'm going to go through this knot, or through this loop with my needle. Just to make a little knot there. Just pull that tight. Alright. And I'm going to move on to the next one. And if you want to do it 2 knots, you can do 2 knots. So you just go right back through again, right under a thread. Hold this back behind. It helps keep it out of the way so it doesn't get stuck in the thread. And if you start seeing you got a loop, give it a little loosen there with the needle. There you go. There we go. Alright. It's always the fun in doing anything with needle and thread. Alright, so I've shown you how to go from one loop over to the next loop. So I'm going to go ahead and just do some work here. I'm going to fast forward this video so you can see where I'm doing the work, but it's redundant. It's the same thing over and over. So there's going to be, I believe, 9 of these little fringes. Let's see. I believe we have 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, we have 8. Alright, just kidding. We have 8 of these. So I'm going to go through and do those, and then I'll meet back up at the end so I can show you how I finish this off. Alright, and then what I did was I actually went over to finish the circle and went into the next one. There's actually a strand on this one. I was just hiding. There he is. So it looks like I just went over into the next one here. And through the loop on the bead cap itself, just to hold the circle strong, and then actually through the thread on this one as well to help everything hold its shape in its position. I didn't mean to pull my needle off, but I did. Alright, it's alright. We're pretty much done anyway, so I'm going to add a little dot of glue right there on that finishing spot. There we go. Did it without putting my finger on it. Give that a little cut. Push that down into the glue, that end. Alright, and there we go. We now have a pair of fireworks earrings that are red, white, and blue themed. So I can actually wear these on 4th of July, or anyone can wear these for any patriotic day, as long as, you know, the colors of your country are red, white, and blue, I suppose. Or you can make them to whatever colors you want. You can make them to whatever, you know, country, sports team, you know, whatever. Favorite colors, colors to match your dress. They're nice and sparkly. They have lots and lots of movement. They're quite fun. And the possibilities are limitless. You could use any kind of beads with these. Kind of like a little chandelier. Alright, so there you go. So there are my awesome collaboration firework earrings. Oh, and be sure to check out everybody else's channels too. I almost forgot. So the people in the collaboration, we have Pirate Pretties, of course. She's the one who's, you know, doing this, Pirate Pretties Jewelry. So we have her channel, we have Wendy Whitman, and we have Turquoise Street, and all of their links are going to be in the description below. And we're all putting out our videos today, January 15th. So, or even if you're watching this afterwards, you can still click on the links below and get to their channels, and you can look for their collaboration videos on their channels. So, if you haven't hit the subscribe button yet, go ahead and do so. And I thank you guys for watching, and have a great day.